From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business. The economy is struggling to take off with the wave of new infections.
Bakit tayo perfect storm? All the ingredients are there. You have a record-breaking cases.
Businesses are no strangers to hard lockdowns, and a number of them continue to thrive. Among them, foreign investors looking for opportunities in a crisis. What does it take to create a conducive and competitive environment for companies while on the rugged path to recovery? European investors are seeing some silver lining in doing business in Manila. What makes a good investment destination for small and medium-sized European enterprises? And this company is Networking World, separated and isolated by a dreadful virus. The mission of reinventing businesses through technology in our C-Suite vision. Uncertainty still looms large for businesses, but the resilient ones are finding more ways to weather this crisis. And these include foreign enterprises that manage to stay afloat and keep jobs for our kababayans. Let's now have an exchange with Trade Secretary and Board of Investments Chairman Ramon Lopez. Secmon, thank you so much for joining us. Malaki ang potensyal ng Pilipinas being an investment destination, but based on a foreign-based index, yung ekonomiya natin is still very restrictive. Ano pong ginagawa ng ating gobyerno to welcome more foreign investors to create more jobs despite COVID-19?
Well, una-una, hello Rico, at saka sa inyong mga taga-subaybay. Well, very important, we have to continue with all the reforms that will have to be done kahit po tayo ay nasa pandemya. Ibig sabihin po nito, habang nagmamanage tayo ng pagkontrol ng COVID-19, itutuloy natin yung mga reforma na kailangan. Nasimulan na yan, tulad nung nabalitaan natin na napasa na CREATE Law, ito yung Corporate Recovery para sa mga enterprises na nagpababa ng corporate income tax rate from 30% to 25%. At pag SME ka, 20% ang corporate income tax rate. At it talks about the incentives as well, no, na pinalawak pa at pinahaba. Isa pang, there are other policy reforms that are also important, yung mga Public Service Act na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Kongreso, sa Senado, right. Ang Retail Trade Law at saka Foreign Investment Act. Because ito po yung mga sinasabing medyo restrictive pa at if only we can revise and open up more these sectors, mas maraming foreign investors na magkakaroon ng mas interesado dito sa Pilipinas. Right. Yung patuloy natin na build na infrastructure, very important po pag-attract ng mga investors.
These economic reforms, no, Secmon, are really important to create more jobs for our kababayans kasi dito sa bansa, we have highly skilled, educated, and a cost-competitive talent pool. And this is the country's key advantage as a preferred location for global companies.
Tama po. And ito talagang mga ginabanggit every time we talk to investors, why select the Philippines? At sa kanila rin ang gagaling ito. We have of course, a large market, growing market, 110 million Filipinos, but kasama dyan yung 49 million na workforce natin that we offer, and that's not present in many of the countries that they are in. Nakita pa nila highly educated at yung mga, yung STEM natin, yung science, technology, engineering, and math graduates ay napakalaki as a percentage to the 800,000 graduates every year. So, gusto talaga nila dito. Kaya kailangan lang we prepare a much more open environment for them, business-friendly. That's why ito po, yung mga policy reforms. Isa pa, nakatulong yung mga pagpasok natin sa mga free trade agreements. Kasi tulad nitong RCEP, yung Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, yung ASEAN plus 5 countries, that means na pag dito sila nag-locate, mas makaka-export sila sa mga RCEP participating countries. Maraming market access at mga rules-based na mga investment laws
Yes.
na ma-assure sila.
So far this year, Secmon, gaano kalaki ang foreign investments sa Pilipinas? And in which sectors and industries are they investing? And how many jobs have already been created despite the health crisis?
Well, dito po sa ngayon, yung year-to-date po natin, I think January to May, ay $3.5 billion na ang pumasok. FDI ito, no? These are actually the foreign direct investments recorded by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Ang maganda yung numbers ngayon, 3.5 billion versus 2.5 billion last year. So may 37.8% tayo na growth. So I think nagpipick up po tayo ngayon in terms of investments. At ito ay this is spread basically mostly in manufacturing, especially on electronics. Nandiyan din ang mga IT BPM. Sa manufacturing, yung mga automotive parts, aerospace, the electronic example, yung from Japan, mga wiring harness. We launched the other day yung inviting also yung mga builders of data centers to cater to the hyperscalers group, positioning the Philippines really as the next haven for mga ganitong klaseng businesses. So very open tayo. I mean, I can talk of many more sectors, pharmaceuticals.
Secmon, nakakatulong ba ang ating vaccination program sa pag-attract ng mga foreign investors?
Of course, nakakatulong po yan. They really look into the way we manage also the COVID-19. It's very important na mapakita natin na tuloy-tuloy ang dating ng vaccines at we are on track in terms of yung vaccination rollout natin. But I think it was reported by the DOF na for the full year, we're expecting 194 million doses. And that by the end of the year, hopefully mataas na o close to 70 or 70% ang magiging fully vaccinated. It's very important that we show that the businesses, we're keeping them afloat, operating and expanding, may opportunity even during the pandemic. For example, Rico, even during the ECQ tayo a few weeks ago, and also the one in March, we allowed essential sectors plus 100% operating capacity ng mga IT BPM, no, yung mga call centers, pati export manufacturing 100% allowed under ECQ. So they see this as good examples na inaalagaan natin yung commitment natin, let's say in manufacturing, you know. So yun po, very important. Tinitingnan nila yan and nakaka-attract tayo also because of that. And we continue to attract, as mentioned, tumaas ang FDI. We by improving also, for example, alternative work arrangements, work from home. We help them with access to inputs, the raw materials, pinafacilitate natin. We have many examples that natulungan nating mga kumpanya para lang maganda yung kanilang operations dito.
Thank you so much for this investment exchange, Trade Secretary and Board of Investments Chairman Ramon Lopez. And now here's a rundown of this week's top business stories. The national government's outstanding debt soars to more than 11.5 trillion pesos as of end July. And this means each Filipino owes government borrowers more than 100,000 pesos. The Trade Department says keeping markets open and allowing unhampered flow of essential goods and services will help lift the economy. But manufacturing activity, according to information and analytics provider IHS Markit, declined to a 15-month low in August as another hard lockdown in the main economic hub disrupted production lines. And international think tank Moody's Analytics says plans to carry out lockdowns in small areas will support growth and recovery. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. European investors are seeing bright spots in the country. More from the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. And how do you thrive in these difficult times? Find out from financial coach and motivational speaker Boss Sanchez. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust. Glad glad you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. A multi-billion peso casino project on Boracay Island will proceed as President Duterte lifts the ban on new casinos. Alliance Global Chairman Andrew Tan says the group will go ahead with its planned township called Boracay New Coast. And this includes the construction of more hotels and a golf course that will follow environmental policies. And he's optimistic that the island's tourism sector will immediately recover after the pandemic. Another company, Leisure and Resorts World, says it is looking forward to resuming discussions with Macau-based Galaxy Entertainment on their 25 billion peso casino resort project, also in Boracay. In 2018, President Duterte called Boracay Island a cesspool and ordered its 6-month shutdown to make way for its rehabilitation. A casino ban was then declared. But groups such as the natives of Boracay and business stakeholders are opposing the development. Chris Cahilig says Boracay can survive and contribute to the local economy even without casinos.
These casinos can exist anywhere. They are in Manila, for example, and it's not the white beach. So what we are pointing out is these casinos can exist everywhere, can exist in other tourism destinations where there is no issue on overdevelopment yet, and we need to distribute these opportunities. These economic opportunities are needed also by other tourist destinations in the Philippines.
Cahilig stressed the government should consider other sources of revenues. European investors are looking to the country for opportunities, especially for small and medium enterprises, which are also the backbone of their economy. Let's now have an exchange with Lars Wittig, President of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Lars, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what makes the Philippines attractive to European investors despite this ongoing pandemic?
Well, first of all, we have seen that the foreign direct investments, especially the European, actually have been very robust amidst the pandemic. And last year, the foreign direct investments maintained the level of 6.5 billion US dollars, which just 2 or 3 years ago would have been very, very respectable. There was a small drop, but the European investors only represented half of that drop and came in number 2 from a global perspective of investments into the Philippines.
And Lars, but if you take a look at the data in 2020, a number of European businesses left and investments fell 12% in the past year. What still needs to be done by the government and Congress to attract European money back to the country?
Well, the European money never stopped flowing in, and the European investors are very bullish on ASEAN, and what we need to do is to make sure that we are moving even faster than the other ASEAN countries so that we can get ahead of the pack. There are still 3 pending investment reform bills that we are very hopeful will pass here before election time takes over, and that is, just to quickly mention them, that is the Public Service Act, it is the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, and not least the Foreign Investment Act. Those 3 are pivotal in order to ensure that we actually literally capitalize on this big interest that there currently is from European investors.
And how many more jobs have been created by European companies in the country? And how many Filipinos are being employed by European firms?
Actually, Rico, I don't have that number top of mind, but we are clearly a main investor. Europe invests twice as much as US corporations, as just for comparison. And I believe it's only Japan that is a bigger investor into the Philippines, as they put a lot of funds into, not least, infrastructure. But what we also would like to see is, besides the existing businesses and areas that are being invested into on behalf of European and actually all foreign investors, we need to get broader, better access to, for example, telco and energy, transportation. These are really high-value jobs, and we need to see better, more competition better variety of services, options to the consumers here. And that can only be allowed by bringing down these barriers.
And in which particular industries and sectors are European companies creating jobs for our kababayans?
Well, I would say especially telco is an area where we are barely scratching the surface. That could easily be Nokia as just one example that would come in and easily become a key player. I mean, there are so many examples. We see on retail that right now it is only those with very deep pockets, like IKEA opening, I believe, here in fourth quarter, that can afford to come in, because the minimum requirement right now is that you must bring in and invest minimum $2.5 million in order to open that store. And that means that the really strong European players like IKEA comes in. That's great. The consumers will love it, I'm sure. But I think it is more fair that everybody gets access, also the small, medium enterprises that you mentioned initially.
And, you know, Lars, the Philippines has been in and out of strict lockdown since March 2020. How important is the country's vaccination program and mobility of the population for European companies to make new investments?
Exactly. First, we have to see the vaccines, and we find it highly commendable how it has accelerated, especially since mid-year this year. So to see now nearly 20% vaccinated of the total population, that's one number, but what is more important is that there's been very high focus on, for example, Metro Manila, and that's great for two reasons. Number one, the health risk is much greater, very high, big population, high density. That's one reason. The other is the giant share of our GDP. So, for example, here at my company, where I'm speaking from now, IWG, basically 100% of our employees are fully vaccinated, and everybody I talk to, at least 80% of their employees are already fully vaccinated. Therefore, the other question you came with, transportation, that's the next hurdle. First, the vaccines, and then the ability to have the ability to be mobile, to be able to meet up, and eventually also to be able to travel domestically.
Thank you so much for this European Foreign Investors Exchange, Lars Wittig, President of the ECCP. And still ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. We all look forward to a return to normal activities, but a financial coach says we can find ways to thrive even in a crisis. Also get inspired by this humble fisherman from Zamboanga who joins the roster of the Nobel Prize of Asia winners. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust. Glad you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. We're now in the so-called Burr months, where our kababayans begin counting down to Christmas Day. So how can we prosper even during these difficult times, especially for those who have lost their jobs? Financial coach and motivational speaker Boss Sanchez says it helps to find multiple streams of income and become your own entrepreneur.
Right now, if you do not have a job, look for a way by which you can become an entrepreneur. Find an online part-time job. Find a way to sell something. Get out of your comfort zone and find ways by which you can add income streams into your life.
Sanchez says another way to grow one's income is by investing, but it is important to raise one's financial literacy to avoid illegal schemes. Our world has never been this restrictive and isolated, but thanks to technology, we remain connected safely. Technology companies across the globe are working double time to find innovative solutions and keep their businesses running. Let's now have an exchange with Eileen, Hizon, President and Country General Manager of IBM Philippines. Eileen, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, how is IBM adjusting its business here in the Philippines amid this ongoing pandemic?
Hello, Rico. I'm happy to share with you, IBM, we are really advocating the mindset of the shift to what is called the anywhere workplace. So if you think about it, you have to think about being able to work from home, in the office, or wherever, and shift any other time, right? But comes with this would be challenges of security, and really a lot of contactless interaction among our employees and of course the partners and the clients that we work with. So with IBM, what we are doing is really enhancing our processes and our tools. And we're using technology to assist us in this process. Technology including cloud and artificial intelligence. So we have embedded this in our tools.
So with these new tools, with these new solutions, has IBM Philippines expanded its operations in the country, or is the business on a wait-and-see mode?
Yeah, so with IBM in the Philippines, it's very interesting that during this period of the pandemic, while like many others, we all have our own challenges, it has also allowed us to come together and band together for business resilience and really discover the best out of ourselves and even really grow. So quarter and quarter, we look at this and really we help our clients get to growth mode as well. With the use of technology and of course taking care of our employees as well.
And are your Philippine-based clients investing heavily in digital technology? Is digital innovation here to stay even after the pandemic?
That's a good question, Rico. Actually, the pandemic has really truly accelerated transformation. Not only for IBM in the Philippines, for our employees, but really our clients. We see a lot of new investments in these technologies because if you think about it, again, in the anywhere workplace, we have no choice. We have to use really technology. It actually involves cybersecurity, cloud, artificial intelligence. In fact, this has been validated by a study we handled with over 3,000 CEOs globally. It just shows that the outperformers are actually using, prioritizing talent and these kinds of technologies to move forward and adapt. It's all about our business resilience.
But Eileen, will prioritizing digital services and technology by many Philippine companies mean more jobs or less jobs for our kababayans?
Another interesting question. So actually what you're also seeing in the shift is that as we look at the digital transformation, you are also seeing a shift in terms of type of skills that are needed and the kinds of jobs, right? So it's the way we adapt to what are the new models of doing business. For IBM, there are shifts in terms of skills, and also we see the same for our clients. So we are creating new jobs, but at the same time, we are upskilling existing jobs. As we apply this, we are returning to work. You again see it in technologies that we are using as part of this process of adaptability.
Thank you so much for this digital business exchange, Eileen Hizon, President and Country General Manager of IBM Philippines. And before we go, we'll leave you with this inspiring story of the only Filipino recipient of the Ramon Magsaysay Award for 2021. Roberto Balyon, or Ka Dodoy, a fisherman from Zamboanga, Sibugay, led the revival of their dying fishing industry by planting mangroves. Ka Dodoy helped transform the province into a seafood capital and ecotourism destination. For him, it is always better if we all act together.
Magtulungan po tayo lahat at sabi po namin, ay hindi ho lahat iasa namin sa gobyerno, kundi bagkus tinutulungan po natin at tulungan natin ang gobyerno para mapaganda yung kanilang programa at ang mangyayari at pag maganda ang implementasyon ng gobyerno dahil tinutulungan natin, so tayo din ang makikinabang.
Congratulations, Ka Dodoy, and we are indeed very proud of you. And this is The Exchange. We make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use. News you can trust.